welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we're diving into one of the most influential books, well, ever, on personal effectiveness. Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And look, this is way more than just a list of tips. It's really a deep framework for building character from the inside out. So let's get right into it. The book opens with this really powerful metaphor, right? And it just gets to the heart of a feeling I think we all know. That feeling of being completely exhausted from being so busy, you know? We're always running, climbing, working so hard, but are we even sure we're climbing the right ladder? It's that classic trap of mistaking all that activity for actual real achievement. And that leads us to this really crucial question you have to ask yourself. Is all this effort actually taking you where you want to go? I mean, that's the whole point, right? The 7 habits are designed to solve this exact problem. It's about helping us make sure our ladder is leaning against the right wall, before we spend our entire lives climbing the wrong one. Okay, so how do we make real, lasting change? Well, the book argues you can't just tinker with your behaviors. That's kind of like just trimming the leaves of a problem. To get real results, you've got to go way deeper. You have to get to the root. And that root, it's our paradigms. It's the very foundation of how we see everything. So what's a paradigm? Well, think of it like your mental map of the world. It's not the actual territory, it's just your interpretation of it. For instance, if your map says all managers are untrustworthy, that's going to color every single interaction you have at work, right? So to really change, you have to be willing to look at your own maps and maybe, just maybe, be ready to redraw them. In this right here, this is the first, and honestly, the most fundamental paradigm shift you can make, becoming proactive. It's moving away from that reactive mindset, where you feel like you're just a product of your circumstances. Oh, the traffic made me late. And instead, shifting to a proactive mindset where you know your life is a product of your choices. It's that huge realization that, hey, you're the one in charge. So a key idea in the book is that all true effectiveness starts from the inside out. What does that mean? It means before you can build great relationships or lead other people, you first have to master yourself. This is what the book calls the private victory, and it's built entirely on the first 3 habits. Okay, so this is your roadmap to self-mastering. It all starts with habit 1, being proactive, realizing you're the driver, not a passenger. Then, once you've got your hands on the wheel, habit 2 asks the big question. Okay, where are we going? You have to begin with the end in mind. This is where you define your values, your ultimate destination. It's like drawing the blueprint first. That's the mental creation. Only then can you move on to habit 3, put first things first. This is where you actually build the house, the physical creation. It's about bringing that vision to life, day by day, by focusing on what's truly important, not just on whatever is screaming for your attention. All right, so once you've achieved that private victory, once you can actually manage yourself, then you've really earned the right to work effectively with other people. And this is what we call the public victory. It's that shift from mastering yourself to building really powerful relationships. So the core concept for the public victory is this idea of an emotional bank account. Think about it. In every single relationship you have, with every interaction, you're either making deposits through things like kindness, honesty, keeping your commitments, or you're making withdrawals. And having that high balance of trust, that is the absolute foundation for every effective team, every good partnership, every strong family. Okay, so once you have that trust in place, you can start to adopt habit 4, which is to think win-win. Most of us are taught to see the world as win-lose. It's like there's a fixed pie, and if I get a bigger slice, you automatically get a smaller one. But real effectiveness demands a totally different mindset. It's about searching for solutions where everybody wins, because you realize you can actually work together to make the whole pie bigger. But you might be asking, how do you actually find those win-win solutions? Well, that's where habits 5 and 6 come in. Habit 5 is the absolute key. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. And this doesn't just mean waiting for your turn to talk. It means listening with real empathy, trying to genuinely see the world from their point of view. When you do that, you create this incredible trust and openness that makes habit 6 possible. Synergize. This is the magic. It's where 1 + 1 = 3, or 10, or 100. It's where your combined understanding creates brand new solutions that neither of you could have come up with alone. Okay, so you've achieved the private victory. You've achieved the public victory. You're feeling good. But how do you keep it going? How do you sustain all this and not just completely burn out? Well, that is where the final and absolutely crucial habit comes into play. There's this great little story in the book about a woodcutter who's working furiously to cut down a tree. Someone comes along and says, "Hey, why don't you take a break and sharpen your saw?" And the woodcutter replies, "I can't, I'm too busy sawing." Sound familiar? That is the trap so many of us fall into. We fail to maintain our single most important asset, ourselves. And that brings us to habit 7, sharpen the saw. This is the habit that makes every other habit possible.
So what does sharpening the saw actually mean? It means regularly and consistently investing in yourself across 4 key areas: your physical health, your mental sharpness, your spiritual core, and your social and emotional well-being. And let's be clear, this is not a luxury. This isn't something you do if you have time. It is the single most important investment you can possibly make for your long-term effectiveness. It's what gives you the energy and the capacity to live all the other 6 habits.
So one of the most important things to get about all this is that these habits, they're not just a random checklist. Not at all. They're a totally integrated framework. They follow a natural process of growth that moves us along a path that the book calls the maturity continuum. And here it is, the whole journey laid out. Look, we all start our lives in a state of dependence, right? Relying on others. Then, through that private victory, habits 1, 2, and 3, we achieve independence. We can take care of ourselves, we're self-reliant. But, and this is key, that's not the end goal. True effectiveness comes when we use that independence, that position of strength, to choose to become interdependent. That's when we achieve the public victory with habits 4, 5, and 6, realizing that together we can achieve so much more. So you see, this whole framework, it's not just some abstract theory. It's a practical, lifelong process for real growth. It really shows us how to build a life of integrity, of purpose, and of peace. So I'll leave you with this question. Take a look at your own life right now. Which one of these 7 habits, if you started living it with just a little more consistency, would have the biggest positive impact? Where are you going to begin your journey?